Hey there, you. Yeah, you, scrolling through YouTube, looking for that one video that's gonna hit you right in the soul and give you the answers you've been chasing. What if I told you that the secret to crushing it in life, whether it's your career, your relationships, or just finding that inner peace, doesn't come from shouting your wins from the rooftops or chasing clout? What if the real power, the kind that changes everything, is found in staying quiet, staying humble, and letting your actions do the talking? Sounds crazy, right? In a world obsessed with likes, followers, and flexing every little achievement, how could silence be the ultimate game changer? That's the mystery we're diving into today, and trust me, by the end of this video, you're gonna have the exact roadmap to unlock success in a way you never thought possible. My name's your name, and I'm not here to sell you some overhyped motivational speech or a get-rich-quick scheme. I'm here to share a story, a real, raw, life-changing story that's gonna make you rethink everything you've been taught about winning in life. So, grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's unpack this together, because this is about you, your dreams, and the hidden power of staying humble. You ever feel like you're running on a treadmill, chasing success, but no matter how fast you go, you're not getting anywhere? Maybe you're grinding at your job, pouring your heart into your side hustle, or trying to build a life that feels meaningful, but something's missing. You see people out there on Instagram, TikTok, even in your own circle, flaunting their wins, their cars, their perfect lives, and you wonder, am I doing this wrong? Do I need to be louder, bolder, flashier? I get it. I've been there. We live in a culture that screams, if you're not shouting about your success, you're invisible. But here's the thing, what if all that noise is just a distraction? What if the real secret to mastering success isn't about being the loudest in the room, but the quietest? This video isn't just another self-help talk. It's a journey into the lives of people who've cracked the code, people who've built empires, found happiness, and changed the world, not by chasing attention, but by embracing the power of silence. And I'm not talking about sitting cross-legged on a mountain meditating for 10 years. I'm talking about a practical, down-to-earth way of living that's gonna make you unstoppable. You're here because you want answers, and I promise you, you're gonna get them. But you've gotta stick with me, because this story, it's got twists, it's got heart, and it's got truths that'll hit you like a ton of bricks. Let me take you back to a moment that changed everything for me. A few years ago, I was just like you, hustling, grinding, trying to make a name for myself. I was obsessed with making it, whatever that meant. I'd post every little win online, chase every opportunity to network, and make sure everyone knew I was out here working. But no matter how much I did, I felt empty. I was burning out, comparing myself to others, and wondering why I wasn't further along. Sound familiar? Then I met someone who flipped my entire world upside down. Her name was Maya, a woman in her 40s who ran a small bakery in my hometown. Nothing flashy, no viral TikToks, no neon signs, no influencer vibes. Just a cozy little shop with the best damn cinnamon rolls you've ever tasted. But here's the kicker, Maya wasn't just running a bakery. She was quietly building a legacy. Her shop was a community hub, her employees were like family, and her customers, they'd drive hours just for a coffee and a chat. I asked her one day, how do you do it? How do you make this place so special without all the hype? She smiled, leaned in, and said something I'll never forget. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful. Real success. It's built in silence. That moment was like a lightning bolt. I started digging, researching, and meeting people like Maya, everyday folks and even some big names who'd mastered this art of staying humble while winning big. And what I found? It's not just a mindset, it's a strategy, a way of life that's been hiding in plain sight. Now, you might be thinking, okay, staying humble sounds nice, but how does that actually help me get ahead? How does that pay my bills, grow my business, or make me feel like I'm enough? Great question. That's exactly what we're gonna unpack in this video. You're gonna meet 3 key characters whose stories will show you how silence isn't about being passive or invisible, it's about being strategic, intentional, and powerful in ways that the loud world can't touch. There's Maya, the baker who turned a tiny shop into a legacy without ever raising her voice. Then there's Jay, a tech entrepreneur who went from a nobody to a multimillionaire by letting his work speak for itself. And finally, there's Sarah, A single mom who rebuilt her life from rock bottom by embracing humility in ways that'll make you cry and cheer at the same time. These aren't just stories, they're proof that humility isn't weakness, it's a superpower. And the best part? You don't need to be a genius, a celebrity, or a trust fund kid to use it. You just need to know the principles, the moves, the mindset, and that's what I'm giving you today. But here's the deal, you've got to stay with me to the end, because I'm saving the biggest revelation for last. It's the one thing that ties all these stories together, and it's the key to unlocking this power in your own life. Let's talk about why this matters to you. Right now, you're probably juggling a million things: work, family, dreams, maybe some self-doubt. You're wondering how to stand out in a world that's louder than ever. You're searching for that edge, that secret sauce that'll take you from where you are to where you want to be. Maybe you're an entrepreneur trying to grow your brand, a student figuring out your path, or just someone who's tired of feeling like you're not enough. Whoever you are, I see you. I know what it's like to feel stuck, to wonder if you're doing it all wrong. That's why I made this video, not to lecture you, but to walk with you. This isn't about me standing on a soapbox, it's about us figuring this out together. The power of staying humble isn't some fluffy, feel-good idea. It's a practical, proven way to build confidence, earn respect, and achieve goals without losing yourself in the noise. And the stories I'm about to share, they're not just inspiring, they're a blueprint. You'll see how Maya used silence to create loyalty that money can't buy. How Jay's quiet confidence won him deals that the loudest guys in the room couldn't touch. How Sarah's humility turned her pain into purpose. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how to apply this in your life, whether it's in your job, your relationships, or your own headspace. But here's where it gets real. The world doesn't make it easy to stay humble. We're bombarded with messages telling us to fake it till you make it, to hustle harder, to be the loudest, the flashiest, the most extra. Social media's got us comparing our behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. It's exhausting, isn't it? And deep down, you know it's not working. You've seen the influencers who crash and burn, the co-workers who talk a big game but never deliver, the friends who chase clout and end up miserable. What if there's a better way? What if the path to real, lasting success is quieter, steadier, stronger? That's what this video is about, showing you how to master success in silence, how to let your actions, your character, your results speak louder than any viral post ever could. You're not here by accident. You clicked on this video because something in you is hungry for more, not more noise, but more meaning. And I'm not gonna let you down. I'm gonna guide you through every step, every story, every lesson, until you're armed with the tools to make it happen. But you've got to promise me one thing: don't click away. The answer you're looking for? It's coming, and it's bigger than you think. Let's set the stage for what's ahead. Over the next few minutes, we're gonna dive deep into the lives of Maya, Jay, and Sarah. You'll see how they faced challenges just like yours: doubt, rejection, failure, and how they turned it all around by embracing humility. You'll learn the 3 core principles of mastering success in silence: focus, authenticity, and resilience. These aren't just buzzwords, they're the building blocks of a life that's not just successful, but fulfilling. We'll explore how to stay grounded when the world's screaming at you to show off. How to build trust and respect without saying a word. How to keep going when everything feels like it's falling apart. And most importantly, how to do it all while staying true to who you are. This isn't about becoming someone else, it's about becoming the best version of you. The tone here? It's real, it's raw, it's human. No fluff, no hype, just truth. And the atmosphere? Picture us sitting across from each other, maybe at Maya's bakery, with the smell of fresh bread in the air, having a heart-to-heart about what really matters. You're not just watching a video, you're part of this story. You're invested, because this is about your life, your future, your power. Now, here's where it gets juicy. There's a secret that Maya, Jay, and Sarah all share: a single, game-changing truth that took their lives from ordinary to extraordinary. It's not something they learned in a book or a seminar. It's something they discovered through struggle, through moments of doubt so heavy they could have given up. And it's the reason they succeeded where others failed. I'm not gonna spill it just yet, because you need to see their stories first to really get it. But I will tell you this: It's about a choice. A choice you're gonna face, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. A choice between the loud, shiny path everyone else is running down, and the quiet, powerful one that's waiting for you. The stakes. They're high. We're talking about your happiness, your legacy, your ability to look in the mirror and know you did it right. So, what's it gonna be? Are you ready to uncover the power of staying humble? Are you ready to master success in silence? The answer's just around the corner, but you've got to take the next step with me. Because right now, at this very moment, something's shifting. Maya's about to reveal a secret from her past that nearly broke her. Jay's about to face a deal that could make or break his empire. Sarah's about to make a choice that'll change her family's future forever. What happens next? You'll have to keep watching to find out. Alright, you're still here with me, and I'm so glad you stuck around because things are about to get even more intriguing. We left off on the edge of something big. Maya, Jay, and Sarah, each standing at a crossroads, their lives hanging in the balance of a choice that could redefine everything. That choice, that secret they all share, is tied to the power of staying humble. But how did they get here? What's driving them to embrace silence in a world that rewards noise? Let's dive into the heart of this mystery by peeling back the layers of their lives, their recent moves, their relationships, and the shadows lurking just out of sight. I'm not gonna lie, this part of the story is gonna raise more questions than answers, and that's on purpose. You're gonna start wondering who's pulling the strings, who's hiding something, and whether the path of humility is as pure as it seems. Keep your eyes peeled, because the clues are starting to drop, and the tension, it's only gonna build from here. You're not just watching a story, you're unraveling a puzzle, and I need you to stay locked in to catch every twist. Let's start with Maya, the baker whose cinnamon rolls could probably bring world peace. On the surface, her life looks like a cozy dream. Her bakery, the quiet loaf, is the heartbeat of her small town, a place where locals gather not just for pastries but for connection. But dig a little deeper, and you'll see cracks in the dough. In the last 6 months, Maya's been acting different. She's always been the kind of person who listens more than she speaks, but lately, she's been almost too quiet, even for her. She's been closing the bakery early, slipping out to meetings she won't talk about, and there's a new intensity in her eyes, like she's carrying a weight no one else can see. Her employees, like Tommy, the chatty barista who's been with her for years, have noticed her sneaking glances at her phone, responding to messages she quickly hides. Is she in trouble? Is the bakery struggling? Or is it something bigger? There's a rumor floating around town that a big chain coffee shop is eyeing the lot next door, and some say Maya's been approached with an offer to sell, a deal that could set her up for life but kill the soul of her business. Yet, when I asked her about it, she just smiled that cryptic smile and said, "Some fights are won by staying still." What does that even mean? And then there's her old friend, Carla, a real estate agent who's been pushing Maya to think about her future. Carla's got a reputation for playing hardball, and she's been seen lingering around the bakery more than usual. Could she be pressuring Maya into something? Or is Maya hiding a plan of her own, one she's keeping so quiet it's almost invisible? The more you look at Maya's world, the more you wonder if her humility is a shield or a mask. Now, let's shift to Jay, the tech entrepreneur who's the closest thing this story has to a rock star, but not the kind you'd expect. Jay's in his early 30s, sharp as a tack, with a knack for building apps that people can't stop downloading. His latest startup, a productivity platform called FlowState, is on the verge of a massive deal with a Silicon Valley giant, the kind of deal that could make him a household name. But here's where it gets murky. Jay's not your typical tech bro. He doesn't do flashy keynotes or viral X posts. He's the guy who shows up to meetings in a hoodie, lets his team take the spotlight, and dodges interviews like they're dodgeballs. That humility has won him loyalty from his team, but it's also raised eyebrows among investors. In the past few months, Jay's been under pressure to step up, to be the face of FlowState, especially with this deal on the line. His business partner, Ethan, is the opposite, loud, charismatic, always working the room. Ethan's been pushing Jay to play the game, to hype the company on social media, to act like a CEO. But Jay's resisted, and it's caused tension. There have been late-night arguments, hushed conversations that stop when others walk in. Ethan's been cozying up to the investors on his own, and some say he's positioning himself to take control if Jay doesn't budge. Then there's Lena, Jay's longtime mentor, a tech veteran who taught him everything he knows. She's been oddly distant lately, canceling meetings and dodging calls. Does she know something about the deal? Is she siding with Ethan? Or is Jay's quiet approach hiding a strategy so brilliant it could outsmart them all? The stakes are sky high, and with millions of dollars and his life's work on the line, you can't help but wonder if Jay's silence is his greatest asset or his biggest mistake. And then there's Sarah, the single mom whose story hits you right in the gut. Sarah's in her late 30s, raising 2 kids on her own after a divorce that left her with nothing but a beat-up car and a mountain of debt. A year ago, she was working double shifts at a diner, barely scraping by, her dreams buried under bills and exhaustion. But something shifted. Sarah started taking night classes, studying marketing, and quietly building a small freelance business on the side. She's not flashy about it, no LinkedIn brags, no girlboss hashtags. She just works, head down, heart full. In the last few months, her business has started to take off, small clients at first, then bigger ones, until she landed a contract with a local company that could change everything. But here's where the plot thickens. Sarah's success hasn't gone unnoticed, and not everyone's cheering. Her ex-husband, Mark, has been sniffing around, suddenly interested in reconnecting after years of radio silence. Mark's got a history of taking credit for things that aren't his, and Sarah's friends are worried he's after her newfound stability. Then there's her co-worker, Danielle, who's been acting strange, petty comments, missed deadlines, like she's jealous of Sarah's hustle. Sarah's been nothing but kind, even sharing her notes from class with Danielle, but that kindness might be backfiring. And what about the company she's working with? There's a whisper that their CEO has a shady past, cutting corners to climb the ladder. Is Sarah's big break too good to be true? She's been so focused on staying humble, on doing the work without seeking applause, that she might not see the storm coming. Her kids are counting on her, her future's on the line, and every choice she makes feels like it could tip the scales. So, where does this leave us? Maya's got secrets she's not sharing, and her bakery might be a battleground for something bigger. Jay's fighting to keep his company and his principles intact, but the people closest to him might not be on his side. Sarah's building a new life from the ground up, but the ghosts of her past and the envy of others are closing in. Each of them is living proof that humility can move mountains, but they're also walking a tightrope where one wrong step could unravel everything. Are they being too trusting, too quiet, too focused on doing the right thing? Or is their silence a calculated move, a way to outmaneuver the chaos around them? You're probably starting to suspect everyone, Carla's pushiness, Ethan's ambition, Mark's sudden return. Maybe even Maya, Jay, and Sarah aren't as innocent as they seem. That's the beauty of this story. The more you learn, the less you know. The power of staying humble is starting to feel like a double-edged sword, a strategy that can build you up or leave you vulnerable. And that secret I mentioned, the one that ties their stories together, it's closer than you think, but it's buried in their choices, their struggles, their quiet moments of courage. You're gonna want to keep watching, because just when you think you've got it figured out, something's gonna shift. Maya's about to uncover a truth about her bakery that could change everything. Jay's deal is headed for a showdown that no one saw coming. And Sarah, she's about to face a betrayal that'll test her heart like never before. Who's pulling the strings? What's at stake? You're one step closer to the answer, but you've got to stay with me to find out what happens next. You're still with me, and I can feel your curiosity buzzing through the screen. We've been peeling back the layers of Maya, Jay, and Sarah's lives, watching them navigate their worlds with this quiet, powerful humility that's starting to feel like both a gift and a gamble. Just when you thought you were getting a handle on their stories, the ground's about to shift again. The mystery of how silence can lead to success is getting murkier, and the path to the truth. It's not just a straight line anymore, it's a maze filled with unexpected roadblocks, shadowy warnings, and secrets that refuse to stay buried. As we dive deeper, you're gonna see obstacles pop up that make it harder for our trio to uncover what's really going on, and trust me, these aren't just bumps in the road, they're game changers. A key piece of evidence is gonna vanish, a cryptic warning's gonna stop someone in their tracks, and a betrayal from the past is gonna rear its ugly head, making you question who's really on their side. The tension's cranking up, and I need you to stay locked in because this story's about to pull you in deeper than ever. You're not just watching, you're in this with me, piecing together the clues, and every twist is gonna make you hungrier for answers. Let's pick up with Maya, whose bakery is starting to feel less like a safe haven and more like a chessboard where she's not sure who's playing against her. Last week, Maya stumbled across something odd, a ledger tucked away in the back office, one she didn't recognize, with numbers that didn't add up. It wasn't the usual sales records, it listed payments to someone or something called Evergreen, with dates going back years. She figured it might be tied to the rumors about the big chain coffee shop eyeing her block, maybe proof that someone's been maneuvering behind her back. But when she went to show it to Tommy, her trusted barista, the ledger was gone poof, like it never existed. The drawer where she'd left it was empty, and Tommy swore he hadn't touched it, though his nervous fidgeting made Maya's stomach twist. She started asking around, subtly, not wanting to tip her hand, but then Carla, that real estate agent friend, pulled her aside with a warning that sent chills down her spine. Stop digging, Maya. Some things are better left alone. Carla's voice was low, her eyes darting like she was scared of being overheard. Was she protecting Maya or hiding something? And here's where it gets darker. Maya's been haunted by a memory from a decade ago, a secret she's never told anyone. Back when she first opened the bakery, she took a loan from a local businessman, Victor, a guy with a smile too slick and connections too deep. She paid it off, but not without strings. Victor had wanted a stake in her business, and when she refused, he'd promised she'd regret it. Victor's been out of the picture for years, or so she thought, but now she's hearing his name whispered in town again. Is he behind the missing ledger? Is Carla working with him? Maya's humility has always been her strength, but now it's making her wonder if she's been too trusting, too quiet, and if the truth about her bakery's future is slipping through her fingers. Meanwhile, Jay's world is getting messier by the minute. His big deal with the Silicon Valley giant is so close he can taste it, but the pressure to ditch his low-key vibe and play the loud CEO is mounting. He's been leaning on a single piece of leverage, a prototype for a new flow state feature that's unlike anything on the market, a game-changer that could seal the deal without him having to sell his soul. He kept it on a secure USB drive, locked in his office, shared only with his mentor, Lena, and his business partner, Ethan. But when he went to demo it for the investors, the drive was blank, wiped clean, no trace of the code. Jay's heart sank. That prototype was his ace, his proof that he didn't need to be a showman to win. Ethan was quick to shrug it off, saying, "Tech glitches happen, man, just hype the vision instead." But something in Ethan's tone felt off, too casual, like he wasn't surprised. Then there's Lena, who's been ghosting Jay's calls but sent him a cryptic text, "Be careful who you trust. Not everyone wants you to succeed." Jay's mind is spinning. Did Lena sabotage the drive to push him out of his comfort zone? Or is Ethan playing a bigger game, maybe leaking the prototype to the investors to undermine Jay's quiet approach? The plot thickens when Jay remembers a moment from years ago, when he and Ethan first started the company. Ethan had pitched a shady side deal to a competitor, one Jay shut down, and Ethan never quite forgave him for it. That old betrayal's starting to feel like a ghost haunting their partnership, and with the deal on the line, Jay's starting to wonder if his humility's left him blind to a knife in his back. The truth about the prototype is out there, but every step toward it feels like a trap. Sarah's story is no less tangled, and her climb from rock bottom is hitting snags that make your heart ache for her. That big contract with the local company was supposed to be her ticket to stability, a chance to give her kids the life she's been fighting for. She'd been meticulous, keeping every email, every contract draft, in a folder on her laptop, building her case to prove she's the real deal. But when she went to finalize the deal, the folder was gone, deleted, with no trace in her recycle bin or cloud backups. Sarah's not tech-savvy enough to know if it was a hack or a glitch, but the timing's too perfect. She'd just had coffee with Danielle, her co-worker, who'd been asking pointed questions about the contract, her smile a little too tight. Danielle's been struggling to keep up in their marketing class, and Sarah's success seems to be eating at her. Could she have gotten into Sarah's laptop? Then there's Mark, her ex-husband, who's been showing up at her apartment unannounced, claiming he just wants to help. Sarah's gut tells her he's after something, maybe money, maybe control, but she's been too focused on staying humble, on not making waves, to confront him. The real gut punch comes from a secret she's carried since the divorce. Mark had once forged her signature on a loan, tanking her credit and leaving her to clean up the mess. She never told anyone, not even her best friend, because she was ashamed of how naive she'd been. Now, with Mark back and her contract in jeopardy, that old betrayal feels like a warning she ignored. And the company she's working with? She overheard a barista mention their CEO's been dodging questions about a past scandal, something about cutting out a partner to get ahead. Is Sarah's dream deal a setup? Her humility's kept her grounded, but it might have blinded her to the wolves circling, and the truth about her contract is slipping away faster than she can chase it. So, where does this leave us? Maya's ledger is gone, and a warning from Carla's got her second-guessing everything. Jay's prototype is wiped, and Lena's cryptic message is ringing in his ears. Sarah's contract files have vanished, and the ghosts of her past are closing in. These obstacles aren't just bad luck, they're walls, deliberately placed to keep them from the truth. The power of staying humble is being tested, and you can't help but wonder if their silence is making them stronger or setting them up to fall. Are Carla, Ethan, and Mark the villains here, or are they just red herrings, distracting us from a bigger player? What about Victor, Lena, or that shady CEO? And that secret past event, Victor's loan, Ethan's side deal, Mark's forgery, each one feels like a clue to a betrayal that's still shaping their lives. You're probably itching to know what's next, and I don't blame you, because the stakes just got higher. The truth is out there, but it's buried under lies, mistrust, and choices that could break them. Just when Maya thinks she's found a new lead on the ledger, a late-night phone call stops her cold. Jay's about to confront Ethan, but a discovery in his office changes everything. And Sarah? She's one step away from uncovering who deleted her files, but what she finds might tear her world apart. What's the call about? What's in the office? Who's behind the deletion? You're gonna have to keep watching, because this twist is gonna leave you speechless. Here we are, deeper in the rabbit hole, and I can practically hear your mind racing with questions. Maya's reeling from a mysterious phone call, Jay's staring at a discovery that's turned his world upside down, and Sarah's on the brink of uncovering who sabotaged her contract, each of them teetering on the edge of a truth that feels both closer and further away than ever. The power of staying humble is still their guiding light, but the obstacles piling up are making it hard to see the path ahead. Just when you thought you had a grip on who's trustworthy and who's not, I'm about to throw a curveball that'll make you question everything. A secondary storyline is about to weave its way into this mystery, tying our main characters to someone new, someone whose own brush with danger is gonna complicate things in ways you won't see coming. A cryptic message, a contradictory clue, and a connection that raises the stakes higher than ever are about to pull you even deeper into this story. You're not just watching a video anymore, you're caught in a web of motives, secrets, and betrayals, and I need you to stick with me because this next part is gonna make your jaw drop. The tension's climbing, the mystery's thickening, and every clue is leading to a moment that'll leave you desperate for more. Let's start with Maya, whose late-night phone call has left her shaken, her hands trembling as she clutches her coffee mug in the dim light of her bakery's kitchen. The voice on the other end was low, unfamiliar, and chillingly direct. You're asking too many questions, Maya. The ledger's gone, and if you know what's good for you, you'll let it stay that way. Before she could respond, the line went dead, leaving her with a racing heart and a sinking feeling that her quiet life is unraveling. She's been trying to piece together what the missing ledger meant, those payments to Evergreen that didn't add up, and now this threat has her wondering if she's stumbled into something bigger than a real estate deal. Enter a new player, Rachel, a local journalist who's been a regular at the Quiet Loaf for years, always scribbling in her notebook over a latte. Rachel's been working on a story about shady land deals in town, and just yesterday, she slipped Maya a note saying she'd found something big about the property next to the bakery. But here's where it gets wild. Rachel got a call last night too, same low voice, same cryptic warning to back off. When Maya and Rachel compared notes, they realized the calls came within minutes of each other, and Rachel's digging had led her to a name Victor, the same businessman who loaned Maya money years ago. But there's a twist. Rachel's source, a city clerk, swears Victor's been out of town for months, running a new venture called Evergreen Holdings. So, who's making these calls? Is Victor back, pulling strings from the shadows? Or is someone else using his name to scare them both? Rachel's eager to keep digging, but her editor's been acting cagey, hinting she might pull the story for legal reasons. Maya's humility has always kept her out of the spotlight, but now she's wondering if staying quiet has made her a target and if Rachel's involvement is a lifeline or a liability. Jay's story is taking a darker turn too, and the discovery in his office has him questioning everyone around him. After finding the wiped USB drive, he tore through his desk, hoping for a backup, and stumbled across something he wasn't supposed to see. A printed email from Ethan to one of their investors, dated a week ago, suggesting Jay's lack of vision might require a leadership change. The betrayal stung, but before Jay could confront Ethan, he got a text from an unknown number. "Your prototype's safe. Stop looking, or it won't be." The message hit like a punch. Someone knows about the drive, and they're watching him. Enter a secondary thread through Priya, Jay's lead developer and one of the few people he trusts implicitly. Priya's been with FlowState since day one, a coding genius who's as quiet as Jay, her work speaking louder than any pitch. But yesterday, Priya pulled Jay aside, her voice shaky, and showed him a similar text: "Keep your mouth shut about the prototype, or your code's next." Priya had been working on a backup of the prototype, stored on a secure server, but when she checked, the files were corrupted, unusable. The kicker: the server logs show an unauthorized access from an IP address linked to Lena's consulting firm. Lena, Jay's mentor, who's been dodging him and sending cryptic warnings. But here's where it gets messy. Priya overheard Ethan on a call last week, bragging about landing a side deal that'd make him untouchable. Is Ethan sabotaging Jay to take over FlowState? Is Lena protecting her own interests by tanking the prototype? Or is Priya, with her access to every line of code, not as loyal as she seems? Jay's always leaned on humility to build trust, but now that trust is crumbling, and the truth about his company's future is slipping through his fingers like sand. Sarah's world is no less chaotic, and the loss of her contract files has her scrambling to salvage her big break. She's been retracing her steps, checking her laptop for any trace of the deleted folder, when she found something chilling: an email she never sent, drafted from her account to the company's CEO, asking to renegotiate the contract at a lower rate. It was time-stamped the night her files vanished, and Sarah's certain she didn't write it. Someone's trying to tank her deal. Her first thought was Danielle, whose jealousy has been simmering, but then Mark, her ex, showed up with a smug grin, offering to talk to the CEO for her, claiming he's got connections. Sarah's gut screamed no, but before she could shut him down, a new figure entered the fray: Kayla, a fellow student from her marketing class who's been her study buddy for months. Kayla's been a rock, always cheering Sarah on, but last night, she texted Sarah a screenshot of an anonymous message she'd received: "Tell Sarah to drop the contract, or you're both exposed." Exposed for what? Sarah pressed Kayla, who admitted she'd once helped Sarah fudge a class assignment to meet a deadline, a small cheat that could ruin their reputations if it got out. But here's the contradiction. Kayla swears she saw Danielle with Sarah's laptop during a study session, but the email's metadata shows it was sent from an IP tied to Mark's old office. Is Mark hacking her life again, like he did with that forged loan years ago? Is Danielle's pettiness escalating to sabotage? Or is Kayla's confession a cover for something shadier? Sarah's humility has kept her focused on her kids and her grind, but now it's making her wonder if she's been too naive, and the truth about her contract is tangled in a web of motives she can't untangle. Where does this leave us? Maya and Rachel are bound by matching threats, chasing a ghost named Victor whose shadow looms larger by the day. Jay and Priya are reeling from cryptic texts, their prototype lost to a betrayal that could come from Ethan, Lena, or even closer. Sarah and Kayla are caught in a game of sabotage, with Mark, Danielle, or someone else pulling strings to derail her dreams. This new storyline, Rachel's investigation, Priya's loyalty, Kayla's secret, has woven a tighter net around our trio, making the stakes feel personal, urgent, inescapable. The power of staying humble is being pushed to its limits, and you're starting to see how silence can be a weapon, but whose? Everyone's motives are suspect: Rachel's editor, Ethan's side deal, Kayla's confession, and the clues are contradicting each other at every turn. That secret tying Maya, Jay, and Sarah together. It's pulsing beneath the surface, a truth about choices and consequences that's starting to take shape. But just as we're inching closer, the ground shifts again. Maya's about to walk into her bakery and find something that wasn't there before. Jay's confrontation with Ethan is gonna uncover a lie that changes everything. Sarah's one click away from tracing that email, but what she finds might break her heart. What's in the bakery? What's Ethan hiding? Who sent the email? You're so close to the truth, but this twist is gonna leave you hanging. Keep watching, because you won't believe what happens next. You're still here, and I can feel the tension vibrating through you as we dive deeper into this unraveling mystery. Maya's about to walk into her bakery and find something that wasn't there before. Jay's confrontation with Ethan is poised to expose a devastating lie, and Sarah's one click away from tracing that sabotaged email, each of them teetering on the edge of truths that feel more dangerous by the second. The power of staying humble has guided them this far, but the shadows around them are growing longer, and the stakes are no longer just about success, they're about survival. This story's taking a darker turn, and what's coming next is gonna hit you like a freight train. A drastic event is about to shake each of our characters to their core, forcing them to realize they're not just chasing answers, they're in serious danger. Whether it's a chilling threat, a vanishing ally, or the creeping sense of being watched, the weight of this mystery is crashing down, and you're gonna feel it in your bones. I'm digging into their fears, their paranoia, their raw, human struggle to hold it together, and trust me, this is where the story gets real. The mystery's far from solved, and every answer is gonna spark 10 more questions. Stay with me, because this is about to get intense, and you won't want to miss a single second. Let's step back into Maya's world, where the air in her bakery feels heavier than ever. That late-night phone call warning her to stop digging about the missing ledger was bad enough, but when she unlocks the quiet loaf at dawn, her heart stops. The back office, her sanctuary of flour-dusted ledgers and handwritten recipes, has been ransacked, drawers yanked open, papers strewn across the floor, and a single word scrawled in red marker on her desk: stop. Her breath catches as she realizes this isn't just a prank. Someone was here, in her space, sending a message that feels like a blade against her throat. Maya's always been the calm one, the listener who solves problems with a smile, but now her mind is spiraling. Who did this? Was it Victor, the businessman whose loan she paid off years ago, now tied to the mysterious evergreen payments? Or Carla, her pushy real estate friend, who warned her to back off with that scared look in her eyes? And where's Rachel, the journalist who got the same threatening call? Maya's been texting her all morning, but Rachel's gone radio silent, her usual flurry of messages replaced by an eerie void. The fear gnaws at Maya's gut. Rachel was her ally, her one shot at exposing whatever's threatening her bakery. Has Rachel been scared off, or worse? Maya's humility has always been her anchor, but now it's fueling a paranoia she can't shake. Every creak of the floorboards, every glance from a customer, feels like a warning. She's starting to wonder if her quiet strength has made her too trusting, too blind to the danger closing in, and the thought that she might lose her bakery, her legacy, makes her chest ache with a grief she hasn't felt since her parents passed. The truth about the ledger and those calls is out there, but now it's not just a puzzle, it's a threat that could destroy everything she's built. Jay's world is no safer, and the confrontation he'd planned with Ethan has taken a turn he never saw coming. After finding that damning email suggesting Ethan's plotting a leadership change, Jay stormed into the Flow State office, ready to demand answers. But before he could get a word out, Ethan was gone, desk cleared, laptop missing, his phone going straight to voicemail. Jay's team is buzzing with confusion, but no one's seen Ethan since last night, and the timing feels too perfect. Jay's already reeling from the wiped USB drive and the threatening text about his prototype, and now Ethan's disappearance is like gasoline on the fire. His mind races with possibilities. Did Ethan bolt because Jay was on to him? Or is he in trouble, maybe silenced by whoever sent that text? Then there's the discovery that's haunting him, a security camera feed from the office, time-stamped 2 nights ago, showing a figure slipping into Jay's office at 3 a.m. The footage is grainy, but the hoodie and build look eerily like Lena, his mentor, who's been dodging him and sending cryptic warnings. Jay's heart pounds as he re-watches the clip, his trust in Lena crumbling. Lena, who taught him to stay humble, to let his work speak. Was she playing him all along? And what about Priya, his lead developer, who got a similar threatening text? She's been jumpy, double-checking locks and avoiding eye contact, like she knows more than she's saying. Jay's paranoia is creeping in, making him question every conversation, every glance. He's built flow state on quiet confidence, but now that confidence feels like a liability, leaving him exposed to enemies he can't see. The deal with the Silicon Valley giant is hanging by a thread, and the thought of losing his company, his dream, twists like a knife. He's desperate to find Ethan, to recover the prototype, but every step feels like walking into a trap, and the danger is no longer just professional, it's personal. Sarah's story is hitting a breaking point, and the weight of her situation is crushing her resolve. She was seconds away from tracing that fake email that nearly tanked her contract when her phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. "You're not safe. Leave the contract alone, or your kids pay the price." The words hit like a sledgehammer, her hands shaking so hard she nearly dropped the phone. Sarah's been grinding to give her kids a better life, and the idea that someone would drag them into this, her babies, her reason for everything, sends her into a panic she can't breathe through. She's been trying to stay calm, to focus on rebuilding her files and securing the deal, but this threat is a line crossed. Her mind flashes to Mark, her ex, whose sudden reappearance feels more sinister by the day. He's been lingering near her apartment, claiming he wants to help, but his smirk says otherwise. Then there's Danielle, her jealous co-worker, who Sarah caught glaring at her kid's photo on her desk last week, a look that felt like venom. And Kayla, her study buddy, who's been acting distant since confessing their shared secret about the fudged assignment. Sarah tried calling Kayla for support, but her phone's off, and a quick check with their professor revealed Kayla hasn't shown up to class in days. Where is she? Has she been threatened too, or is she part of this? Sarah's thoughts are a storm of fear and guilt. She's always prided herself on staying humble, on not making enemies, but now she's wondering if that's made her an easy target. The memory of Mark's forged loan, the shame she buried, floods back, making her question if she's been too soft, too forgiving. Her kids are asleep in the next room, and every sound outside her window feels like a threat. The contract was supposed to be her lifeline, but now it's a noose, and the truth about who's behind this feels like it's slipping away, replaced by a fear that's eating her alive. Where are we now? Maya's office is a crime scene, Rachel's vanished, and a red-scrawled stop is burned into her mind. Jay's lost Ethan, his prototype, and his trust in Lena, with a grainy video fueling his paranoia. Sarah's staring at a threat against her kids, Kayla's gone, and every shadow feels like an enemy. The mystery of mastering success in silence has turned deadly, and the danger is no longer abstract, it's real, it's close, and it's personal. Their humility, their quiet strength, is being tested in ways they never imagined, and you're starting to see how it can be both a shield and a vulnerability. Who's behind the ransacking, the texts, the disappearances? Is Victor orchestrating Maya's nightmare from the shadows? Is Lena betraying Jay, or is Ethan's absence a bigger clue? Are Mark, Danielle, or even Kayla targeting Sarah's family? The questions are piling up, each one sharper than the last, and the emotional weight of their fear is pulling you in. That secret tying their stories together, the choice between the loud path and the quiet one, feels more urgent, more dangerous than ever. But just as you're grasping for answers, the story twists again. Maya's about to find a hidden note in her bakery that points to someone she never suspected. Jay's gonna uncover a clue about Ethan's whereabouts that flips the script. Sarah's one step from confronting Mark, but a knock at her door in the dead of night changes everything. Who left the note? Where's Ethan? Who's at the door? The danger's closing in, and you've got to keep watching to see what happens next. You're still right here with me, and I can feel your pulse racing as we teeter on the edge of this spiraling mystery. Maya's just found a hidden note in her ransacked bakery. Jay's uncovered a clue about Ethan's disappearance that's flipped his world upside down, and Sarah's frozen, staring at her door as an ominous knock echoes through her apartment in the dead of night. The power of staying humble has been their lifeline, but it's also dragged them into a vortex of danger, threats, vanishings, and betrayals that have you questioning who's pulling the strings. Just when you thought you had a handle on this story, I'm about to drop a bombshell that'll shatter everything you thought you knew. This isn't just a plot twist, it's a seismic shift, a revelation that redefines the mystery and makes you rethink every clue, every motive, every moment we've shared. Someone trusted is about to reveal a truth so shocking it'll leave you reeling, and a hidden agenda will emerge from the shadows, turning allies into enigmas and the stakes into something far bigger than success. The tension's at a fever pitch, and I need you to brace yourself because this is gonna change the game. You're not just watching a story, you're caught in a whirlwind of deception, and every word is pulling you deeper into the unknown. Let's start with Maya, whose hands are still trembling from finding that note tucked inside a recipe book in her bakery's chaos, a book no one touches but her. The note's handwriting is shaky, scrawled in blue ink. Evergreen isn't what you think. It's not about the land. Meet me at the old mill, midnight. Ah. Rachel, the journalist who's been missing since their matching threatening calls, must have left it before she vanished, but the words are a gut punch. Evergreen, the name tied to those mysterious ledger payments, isn't about a real estate deal. Then what is it? Maya's mind is racing, her heart torn between fear and the desperate need to find Rachel, who might be her only ally in this nightmare. She's about to slip out to the mill when Tommy, her barista, steps into the kitchen, his face pale and his voice low. He's been her rock, always joking, always loyal, but now he's shaking as he confesses something that turns her world inside out. Maya, I lied. I took the ledger. I had to. Evergreen's not a company, it's a code. For something I did years ago with Victor. Tommy's eyes are wet, his words tumbling out like a dam breaking. He tells her that a decade ago, when Maya was struggling to open the bakery, he was in deep with Victor, running errands for a shadowy network Victor called Evergreen, a front for laundering money through small businesses like hers. Tommy swears he got out, that he hid the ledger to protect her, but someone's onto them now, and Rachel's digging got too close. Maya's breath catches, she's trusted Tommy like family, built her legacy on his loyalty, but now she's wondering if her quiet trust has blinded her to a traitor in her own kitchen. Is Tommy's confession the truth, or a desperate lie to cover something worse? And what's Evergreen really hiding? The mystery she thought was about her bakery's future is suddenly a Pandora's box of crime and deception, and Rachel's note feels like a ticking clock leading her into danger she can't comprehend. Jay's story is no less earth-shattering, and the clue he's found about Ethan's disappearance is about to blow the lid off everything. After Ethan vanished, Jay dug through his office, finding a burner phone hidden in a locked drawer, a phone Ethan never mentioned, with a single text thread from an unknown number. Get Jay out, or the prototype's ours. The message was sent the night the USB drive was wiped, and Jay's blood ran cold, realizing Ethan's betrayal runs deeper than a leadership grab. He's ready to hunt Ethan down when Priya, his lead developer, calls him in a panic, begging him to meet her at a diner across town. When Jay arrives, Priya's a wreck, her usual calm replaced by a wild-eyed fear. She drops a bombshell that flips the entire mystery on its head. Jay, the prototype wasn't stolen, it was never yours. Lena built it, years ago, for another company. We just repurposed it. Priya's voice cracks as she admits that Lena, Jay's mentor, had given them the prototype's core code when they started Flowstate, claiming it was abandoned tech. But now Lena's been meeting with that same company, hinting she might reclaim the code if Jay doesn't play ball with the investors. Jay's mind reels. Lena, the woman who taught him humility, who shaped his entire career, has been playing him from the start. The grainy security footage of her in his office, the cryptic texts, her absence, it all points to a hidden agenda. But Priya's not clean either. She knew the truth and kept quiet, and now she's terrified because Ethan's disappearance might mean he's cut a deal with Lena's old company to sell the prototype out from under them. The deal with the Silicon Valley giant, Jay's dream, is built on a lie, and the mystery isn't just about saving his company, it's about unraveling a conspiracy that's been years in the making. Every ounce of trust Jay's placed in his quiet approach feels like a noose, and the danger isn't just losing Flowstate, it's losing everything he thought he was. Sarah's night is spiraling into terror, and the knock at her door is about to unleash a revelation that shatters her reality. She's been staring at that threatening text about her kids, her heart pounding, when she creeps to the door and peers through the peephole. It's not Mark, not Danielle, but Kayla, her missing study buddy, looking like she's been running for her life, her hair wild and her jacket torn. Sarah lets her in, and Kayla collapses onto the couch, sobbing as she spills a truth that changes everything. Sarah, the contracts are set up. The CEO's using you to cover something up. I found proof, and now they're after me. Kayla pulls out a USB drive, claiming it holds documents showing the company's been funneling money through fake contracts, like Sarah's, to hide illegal deals. She says she stumbled on it while digging for their class project, but when she confronted the CEO, she got the same threatening text Sarah did, and someone's been following her ever since. Sarah's head is spinning. Her big break, her lifeline for her kids, is a lie. But the twist cuts deeper. Kayla admits she's not who she seems. She's not just a student, she's been working undercover for a rival firm, tasked with spying on the CEO's shady dealings. Sarah's trusted Kayla, shared her dreams, her fears, and now she's staring at a stranger with a hidden agenda. Is Kayla telling the truth, or is this USB drive a plant to scare Sarah off? And where does Mark fit in, with his sudden help and that forged email from Sarah's account? The memory of his past betrayal, the loan that ruined her credit, feels like a warning she's ignored too long. Sarah's humility has kept her grounded, but now it's left her vulnerable to a plot she never saw coming, and the danger to her kids feels like a vice around her heart. The mystery isn't just about saving her contract, it's about escaping a trap that could destroy her family. Where does this leave us? Maya's staring at Tommy's confession, realizing her bakery's been a pawn in a criminal game called Evergreen. Jay's grappling with Priya's revelation that his prototype, his legacy, is a stolen lie orchestrated by Lena. Sarah's holding Kayla's USB drive, her dream deal exposed as a front for something sinister. This plot twist has turned the mystery inside out. The power of staying humble isn't just about success, it's about navigating a world where trust is a weapon, and silence can hide monsters. Everything you thought you knew about Victor, Ethan, the CEO, is in question. Is Tommy a repentant accomplice or a liar protecting himself? Is Lena a mastermind betraying Jay, or is Priya deflecting her own guilt? Is Kayla a whistleblower saving Sarah, or a double agent setting her up? The stakes are sky high, and the danger is no longer a shadow, it's a storm. That secret tying their stories together, the choice between the loud path and the quiet one, feels like a razor's edge, and every move could be their last. But just as you're reeling from these bombshells, the story's about to twist again. Maya's midnight meeting at the mill is gonna reveal a face she never expected. Jay's search for Ethan is leading him to a place he swore he'd never go. Sarah's about to open that USB drive, but what's inside might be the final nail in her coffin. Who's at the mill? Where's Jay headed? What's on the drive? You're in too deep to turn back now. Keep watching, because this is far from over. You're still locked in with me, and I can feel the weight of this story pressing down on you, just as it's crushing Maya, Jay, and Sarah. The bombshells keep dropping. Maya's headed to a midnight meeting at the old mill after Tommy's confession that her bakery's tied to a criminal network called Evergreen. Jay's chasing Ethan's trail to a place he swore he'd never return, reeling from Priya's revelation that his prototype was stolen. And Sarah's clutching Kayla's USB drive, her dream contract exposed as a cover for illegal deals, with her kids' safety on the line. The power of staying humble has been their compass, but it's also led them into a storm of betrayal, danger, and secrets that feel like they're closing in from every side. Now, the conflict's about to escalate to a breaking point, forcing each of them to face impossible choices that'll tear at their hearts and test their souls. They're not just fighting for answers, they're wrestling with decisions that could cost them everything they love, everything they've built. The emotional weight of their struggles is gonna hit you hard, pulling you deeper into their fear, their hope, their humanity. The tension's thicker than ever, and I'm not giving you any easy outs. The mystery's still unsolved, and every step forward is gonna raise the stakes and leave you gasping for more. Stick with me, because this is where the story gets raw, real, and utterly unpredictable, and you're not gonna want to miss what happens next. Maya's heart is pounding as she drives through the dark, the old mill's silhouette looming like a ghost against the night sky. Tommy's confession about Evergreen, that her bakery was unknowingly used to launder money years ago, has shattered her trust, but Rachel's note about meeting at the mill is her only lead to finding her missing friend and uncovering the truth. She's always solved problems with quiet resolve, but now she's faced with an impossible choice: confront Tommy, the barista she's treated like a son, and risk destroying their bond, or go to the mill alone, knowing it could be a trap. As she pulls up to the mill, her phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Tell the truth, and the bakery burns. Stay silent, and Rachel lives. The words are a knife to her chest, twisting her love for her bakery, her parents' dream, her legacy against her loyalty to Rachel, who's been risking everything to expose Evergreen. Maya's mind churns with memories of her parents, who taught her to stay humble, to build something real, and the thought of their bakery in flames makes her throat tighten with grief. But Rachel's out there, maybe hurt, maybe worse, because of Maya's fight. Her paranoia is a living thing now, whispering that Tommy's confession was too convenient, that Carla's warnings were too vague, that Victor's shadow is everywhere. Standing in the mill's doorway, she hears footsteps inside, and her choice looms like a guillotine: step into the unknown to save Rachel, or protect her bakery by staying silent and letting the truth slip away. Every fiber of her being wants to trust her instincts, to believe humility can still win, but the fear that she's been too naive, too quiet, is clawing at her. The emotional weight of betraying Tommy or abandoning Rachel is crushing her, and as she takes a step forward, the darkness feels like it's swallowing her whole, leaving her to wonder if her silence is her strength or her undoing. Jay's journey has taken him to a place he swore he'd never go again, a rundown warehouse on the edge of town, where he and Ethan first dreamed up Flowstate years ago. The burner phone's text about ousting him, Priya's confession that their prototype was Lena's stolen code, and Ethan's disappearance have pushed him to the brink, and now he's staring at an impossible choice: confront Lena, the mentor who shaped his life, about her betrayal, or follow the clue on the burner phone, a cryptic address for this warehouse that might lead to Ethan and the truth about his company. As he steps inside, the air thick with dust and memories, his phone pings with a voicemail from Lena: "Jay, don't come after me. Give up the prototype, or you'll lose more than Flowstate." Her voice is strained, not the confident mentor he knows, and it cracks something in him. Lena was his rock, the one who taught him to stay humble, to let his work shine, and the idea that she's been playing him for years feels like a betrayal of his very identity. His heart aches with the weight of it, the fear that his quiet trust in her has left him exposed, that his dream was built on a lie. But Ethan's out there, maybe in danger, maybe the key to saving Flowstate, and the warehouse's shadows feel alive with answers or threats. Jay's paranoia is surging, making him question Priya's tearful confession, Ethan's sudden vanishing, even his own judgment. The choice is brutal: face Lena and risk unraveling his past, or search the warehouse and gamble everything on finding Ethan before Lena's warning comes true. The emotional toll is heavy. Losing Flowstate would mean losing the part of himself that believed in quiet resilience, and as he moves deeper into the warehouse, a faint noise echoes, like someone's watching, waiting, and he wonders if his humility has led him to salvation or a trap. Sarah's apartment is a fortress of fear, the USB drive from Kayla burning a hole in her pocket as she paces, the knock at her door still echoing in her mind. Kayla's revelation that her contract is a front for the CEO's illegal deals, and that she's been spying for a rival firm, has turned Sarah's world upside down, and the threatening text about her kids has her on the verge of collapse. She's about to plug in the USB when her phone rings. It's the CEO, his voice smooth but edged with menace. "Sarah, I know about the drive. Drop it off at my office by morning, or your kid's school gets a call about your past." The mention of her past, Mark's forged loan, the shame she's buried, feels like a violation, and Sarah's forced into an impossible choice: hand over the USB and protect her kids, or keep it and expose the CEO, risking her family's safety and her own secrets. Her mind is a storm of guilt and terror, the weight of her kids' trusting faces crushing her. She's fought so hard to rebuild her life, staying humble, focusing on her grind, but now she's wondering if that's made her an easy mark. Kayla's disappearance since dropping off the drive is gnawing at her. Did she set Sarah up, or is she running from the same threat? Mark's lingering presence, Danielle's jealousy, the CEO's sudden knowledge of her past, they're all threads in a web she can't untangle. The emotional stakes are suffocating, her kids are her everything, and the thought of them paying for her choices makes her sob into her hands. She clutches the USB, her fingers trembling, knowing that giving it up means abandoning the truth, but keeping it could mean losing her family. As she stares at her laptop, the screen glowing with the drive's files, a noise outside her window, a rustle, a shadow, sends her heart into her throat, and she realizes the danger isn't just a threat anymore, it's here, now, and her choice will define everything. Where are we now? Maya's standing at the mill, torn between saving Rachel or her bakery, her trust in Tommy shattered by a choice that could cost her everything. Jay's in the warehouse, wrestling with Lena's betrayal and Ethan's fate, his humility a fragile shield against a truth that could destroy flow state. Sarah's gripping the USB, her kid's safety pitted against exposing a criminal plot, her past a weapon in the CEO's hands. These impossible choices have escalated the conflict to a razor's edge, and the emotional weight of their fear, their love, their fight is pulling you into their souls. The mystery of mastering success in silence is more than a puzzle now, it's a battle for their lives, their dreams, their hearts. Who's waiting in the mill? What's in the warehouse? What's on the USB? The questions are relentless, and the danger is suffocating. Their humility, their quiet strength, is being pushed beyond its limits, and you're starting to wonder if it's enough to save them. But just as the choices sink in, the story's about to lurch again. Maya's gonna face someone in the mill who changes the game. Jay's warehouse search is about to uncover a truth he can't unsee. Sarah's about to open a file on that drive, but what she finds might be her breaking point. Who's in the mill? What's Jay about to see? What's in the file? You're too deep to turn back, keep watching, because this is only getting wilder. You're right here with me, heart pounding, as we hurtle toward the climax of this relentless mystery. Maya's standing in the old mill, facing a figure who's about to upend everything. Jay's in the warehouse, seconds from a truth he can't unsee, and Sarah's opening a file on Kayla's USB drive, teetering on the edge of a discovery that could shatter her world. The power of staying humble has carried them through betrayal, threats, and impossible choices, but the walls are closing in, and the danger feels like a living thing, breathing down their necks. Now, the story's exploding into its most intense chapter yet, revealing a conspiracy so vast, so insidious, it dwarfs everything they thought they were fighting. This isn't just about their bakery, their company, their contract, it's about a network of power and deception that's been hiding in plain sight, pulling strings across their lives and beyond. A trusted ally's betrayal will hit like a thunderbolt, and the scale of what they're up against will leave them and you reeling. The stakes are life or death, the pace is relentless, and the emotional weight of their fear, their rage, their hope is gonna grip you by the soul. This is high-stakes, human-centric storytelling at its rawest, and I need you to hold on tight because the truth is about to come crashing down, raising more questions than ever and leaving you desperate for the end. Let's dive in, the climax is here, and it's gonna be a wild ride. Maya's breath catches as the figure in the mill steps into the moonlight, and her heart sinks. It's Rachel, but not the Rachel she knows. The journalist's face is gaunt, her eyes wild with fear and something darker, and before Maya can speak, Rachel thrusts a crumpled folder into her hands, whispering, "It's bigger than Victor. Evergreen's not just money laundering, it's a syndicate, Maya, and your bakery's one of dozens they've used to hide their tracks." The folder's pages detail a sprawling network, businesses, charities, even local government officials, all tied to Evergreen, funneling millions through shell companies across the state. Maya's bakery, her sanctuary, was a pawn in a machine she never saw, and the realization hits like a betrayal of everything she's built. But the real gut punch comes when Rachel confesses, "I wasn't just investigating, Maya. I was part of it. I fed them info to protect my family, but when I tried to get out, they took my sister." Rachel's sobbing, her guilt raw, and Maya's world spins. She trusted Rachel, leaned on her, and now she's staring at a traitor who's both victim and villain. The threatening calls, the ransacked office, Tommy's confession, they're all threads in a conspiracy that reaches far beyond her small town. Rachel begs Maya to run, to take the folder and disappear, but as they speak, headlights flash outside the mill, and Rachel's face drains of color. "They're here," she whispers, and Maya's forced to decide, expose Evergreen and risk her life, or stay silent and let this monster keep growing. Her humility, her quiet strength, feels like a flicker against a tsunami of corruption, and the weight of her parents' legacy, her community's trust, presses down as she clutches the folder, hearing engines roar closer. The scale of Evergreen is overwhelming, and the betrayal of Rachel's double life cuts deep, leaving Maya to wonder if her silence has been complicity all along, and if she's strong enough to fight a beast this big. Jay's in the warehouse, his flashlight cutting through the dark. When he finds it, a laptop, Ethan's, hidden behind crates, its screen glowing with a half-written email that stops his heart. It's addressed to the Silicon Valley giant, offering to sell FlowState's prototype for a fraction of its worth, signed by Ethan and Lena. The words are a betrayal that slices through Jay's core, but before he can process it, a noise, a low, deliberate footstep makes him spin, and there's Priya, her face a mask of guilt and fear. The emotional weight of Tommy's betrayal, the fear for Rachel's sister, the love for her bakery, it's all fuel as she runs, but just as she reaches the door, a figure steps from the shadows, and her breath catches. It's Carla, her real estate friend, holding a gun, her face unreadable. Hand over the folder and walk away, or fight, knowing it could cost her life. Her humility, her belief in quiet strength, surges as she locks eyes with Tommy, seeing the boy she mentored beneath the traitor. In a desperate move, she tosses the folder into a pile of debris and bolts for a side exit, the men shouting as they give chase. Hand over the folder and walk away, or fight, knowing it could cost her life. Her humility, her belief in quiet strength, surges as she locks eyes with Tommy, seeing the boy she mentored beneath the traitor. In a desperate move, she tosses the folder into a pile of debris and bolts for a side exit, the men shouting as they give chase. Hand over the folder and walk away, or fight, knowing it could cost her life. Her humility, her belief in quiet strength, surges as she locks eyes with Tommy, seeing the boy she mentored beneath the traitor. In a desperate move, she tosses the folder into a pile of debris and bolts for a side exit, the men shouting as they give chase. I tried to warn you, Maya, she says, and the twist hits like a shockwave. Carla's not just a bystander, she's Victor's sister, embedded in Maya's life to keep her in line. The mill is a trap, and Maya's silence might be her only weapon left. Jay's lungs burn as he weaves through the warehouse, Ethan's laptop tucked under his arm, the sound of footsteps echoing behind him. The email implicating Lena and Ethan in a tech syndicate scheme is proof of a betrayal that's gutted him, but Priya's warning, they know he's here, has him moving on instinct. He ducks behind a stack of crates, his mind racing with Lena's lessons on humility, now tainted by her treachery. A voice booms through the warehouse, cold and commanding, Jay, you're out of moves. It's Lena, standing under a flickering light, her usual warmth replaced by a predator's calm. Ethan's beside her, alive but battered, his eyes pleading. Lena reveals the full scope. The syndicate's been using FlowState to test a surveillance platform, the prototype a piece of their global puzzle, and Jay's quiet leadership made him the perfect pawn until he started digging. She offers him a deal, hand over the laptop, join the syndicate, and FlowState survives, refuse, and he and Ethan disappear. The betrayal is a physical ache. Lena was his mentor, his guide, and now she's the architect of his ruin. Jay's heart screams to fight, to protect the dream he built, but Ethan's fear, Priya's family's safety, weigh on him. In a surge of defiance, he smashes the laptop against a crate, the screen shattering, and sprints for an exit, Lena's shout ringing out as her men give chase. The emotional toll is crushing, losing FlowState, losing Lena's trust, losing himself, and as he stumbles into an alley, a car screeches to a stop, and Priya's behind the wheel. Get in, she yells, but the twist lands like a bomb. Priya's not just a scared coder, she's been working with Lena, feeding her Jay's moves, and this car isn't salvation, it's a cage. Jay's humility, his belief in his team, has led him straight into a trap, and as the car speeds off, he realizes the syndicate's reach is everywhere, and his fight is far from over. Sarah's fingers tremble as she scrolls through the USB's files, the names Mark, Kayla, the CEO, confirming a money laundering network that's used her contract as a front. Her kids' safety, the CEO's threat to expose her past, loom like a storm, but she's ready to call a journalist friend when her door bursts open, and Mark storms in, his face twisted with rage. You couldn't let it go, could you? He snarls, snatching the USB from her hand. The sight of her ex, the man who forged her name and broke her life, now a cog in this criminal machine, is a betrayal that cuts to her core. Mark reveals the network scale, banks, schools, even police, all bought by the CEO's money, and admits he's been tracking her, using her success to clean their cash. Kayla's role was to keep her compliant, but Sarah's digging has made her a liability. He gives her an ultimatum: stay silent, leave town, and her kids are safe, fight, and the network will crush them all. Sarah's heart is a battlefield, her love for her kids, her fight for a better life, her refusal to be broken again, and she grabs a kitchen knife, her voice shaking but fierce. You don't own me anymore. The standoff is electric, Mark's eyes narrowing as he steps closer, the USB glinting in his hand. Sarah's humility, her quiet grind, has brought her here, and she lunges, knocking the USB free, scrambling for it as Mark tackles her. They crash to the floor, her kids' photos staring down, and in the chaos, a new figure slips through the door, Danielle, her jealous co-worker, holding a phone, recording everything. The twist is a jolt. Danielle's not just petty, she's been working with the journalist, feeding her tips, and this fight is live-streaming to the world. Sarah's battle is no longer private, it's a beacon, exposing the network, but Mark's still got the upper hand, and her kids' lives hang in the balance as the room spins into chaos. Where are we now? Maya's cornered in the mill, Carla's gun trained on her, Victor's syndicate exposed but unstoppable. Jay's trapped in Priya's car, Lena's betrayal a noose, the syndicate's claws tightening. Sarah's fighting Mark, Danielle's livestream a wildcard, the network's secrets spilling into the open. The climax is a blaze of truth and danger, the conspiracy's scale evergreen, the tech syndicate, the CEO's empire laid bare, but the cost is devastating. Their humility, their quiet strength, has been both their weapon and their wound, and the emotional weight of their fight, for legacy, for dreams, for family, is a tidal wave. The final twist, Carla's familial tie, Priya's double-cross, Danielle's broadcast, has turned the battle upside down, and the mysteries are colliding in a storm of stakes and sacrifice. But the story's not resolved, the villains are still standing, and the truth is a double-edged sword. Maya's got one last play to escape the mill. Jay's facing a choice that could end his fight. Sarah's holding the USB, but the livestream's consequences are just beginning. What's Maya's play? What's Jay's choice? What's coming for Sarah? You're in the eye of the storm, and you've got to keep watching. The end is near, and it's gonna blow your mind that you've ridden this wild, heart-wrenching journey with me, and here we are, standing at the edge of the resolution, where the storm of mysteries, betrayals, and battles finally breaks, leaving Maya, Jay, and Sarah forever changed. The climax was a firestorm, Maya cornered in the mill by Carla's gun, Victor's evergreen syndicate exposed, Jay trapped in Priya's car, Lena's tech syndicate tightening its grip, Sarah grappling with Mark, Danielle's livestream thrusting the CEO's criminal network into the open. Their humility, their quiet strength, has been both their shield and their vulnerability, pushing them through a conspiracy that spanned businesses, cities, and lives. Now, as the dust settles, we're weaving together the final threads, answering the questions that have haunted us while leaving a lingering echo that'll stay with you long after the screen fades. Maya's heart is a drumbeat as she stares down Carla's gun in the mill, Victor's men circling, the folder of Evergreen's secrets lost in the debris where she threw it. Tommy's betrayal, Rachel's double life, Carla's revelation as Victor's sister, it's all a weight she can barely carry, but her humility, her quiet fire, surges as she realizes this is her moment to fight for her legacy. She locks eyes with Carla, her voice steady. You can take the bakery, but you can't take what it means. In a desperate gamble, she dives for the debris, grabbing the folder and sprinting through a side door as shots ring out, her legs burning as she weaves through the woods. She reaches a gas station, breathless, and hands the folder to a stunned clerk, begging him to call the police. Hours later, the news breaks: Evergreen's exposed, Victor's arrested, and dozens of businesses are under investigation. Rachel's found, shaken but alive, her sister freed, and Tommy turns himself in, his guilt a shadow he'll carry forever. Maya's bakery survives, but it's scarred, its walls marked by the fight. She rebuilds, quieter now, her community rallying around her, but the cost lingers, trust shattered, innocence lost. As she kneads dough in the early morning, she finds a note slipped under the door, unsigned. Evergreen's roots run deep. Watch your back. The words chill her, a hint that the syndicate's shadow may not be gone, and though she's found peace in her resilience, the mystery of who's still out there keeps her eyes sharp. Her humility has saved her, but it's also taught her that silence can hide both strength and secrets, and as she serves her first customer of the day, a faint smile masks the vigilance she'll carry forever, leaving you to wonder if her fight is truly over or just beginning. Jay's trapped in Priya's car, the city blurring past, Lena's betrayal and Ethan's complicity a wound that won't stop bleeding. The laptop's shattered, FlowState's prototype a pawn in a tech syndicate's game, but Jay's not done. He's built his life on letting his work speak, and he's not letting it die. Priya's driving him to a safe house, she claims, but her shaky hands betray her, and Jay's mind races, piecing together her role. In a surge of clarity, he grabs her phone, finding texts to Lena confirming she's been tracking him for the syndicate. "I had no choice," Priya sobs, but Jay's done trusting. He forces her to pull over, leaping out and running to a nearby diner, where he uses a burner phone to leak the syndicate's plans, emails, names, everything he's pieced together to a tech blogger. By morning, the story's viral, the Silicon Valley deal collapses, and Lena's arrested, her empire crumbling. Ethan resurfaces, turning State's evidence to save himself, but Flow State's gone, its servers seized. Jay starts over, building a new app from scratch, his team smaller but loyal, his humility sharper, tempered by loss. He's at peace, knowing he fought for what mattered, but as he codes late one night, an encrypted email pings. "You think it's over? We're watching." The sender's anonymous, a ghost of the syndicate, and though Jay's stronger now, the mystery of their reach lingers, a shadow over his new beginning. His quiet strength has carried him through, but it's also shown him that silence can be a battlefield, and as he types, his jaw set, you're left wondering if his victory is a pause or a prelude, the echo of danger a haunting note in his story. Sarah's on the floor, wrestling Mark for the USB, her kids' faces in those photos fueling her fight as Danielle's livestream captures every second. The network's secrets, Mark's role, Kayla's deception, the CEO's empire are spilling into the world, and Sarah's humility, her relentless grind, becomes her weapon as she kicks free, clutching the USB and bolting for her phone. Mark lunges, but Danielle steps in, shoving him back, her camera steady as she yells, "It's over, Mark." The livestream's views skyrocket, and within hours, the CEO's arrested, Kayla's in custody, and the network's unraveling, its tendrils exposed from banks to schools. Sarah's contract is void, but her kids are safe, and the journalist, tipped by Danielle, offers her a job writing about her ordeal. She accepts, finding purpose in her voice, but the cost is heavy: Mark's betrayal, Kayla's lies, the fear that gripped her heart. As she tucks her kids into bed, their laughter a balm, she finds a USB in her pocket, not the one she gave the police, but a copy, with a note: "They're not done. Be ready." The handwriting's unfamiliar, a final twist that suggests the network's roots are still alive, watching, waiting. Sarah's at peace, her humility her anchor, but the mystery of who left the note, of what's still out there, keeps her awake, her resolve hardened but her heart wary. Her quiet strength has won, but it's also shown her that silence can hide threats as well as triumphs, and as she hugs her kids, you're left with a chill, wondering if her story's closed or just paused, the shadow of the network a whisper that won't fade. This is where we land, the mysteries of Evergreen, the tech syndicate, and the CEO's network unraveled, their villains exposed, their heroes scarred but standing. Maya's bakery hums again, but a note warns of deeper roots. Jay's coding a new dream, but an email hints at eyes in the dark. Sarah's writing her truth, but a USB copy suggests the fight's not over. The power of staying humble has been their salvation, letting their actions speak louder than any noise, but it's also shown them and you that silence is a double-edged sword, a space where strength and secrets coexist. The emotional impact is profound: Maya's love for her community, Jay's fight for his vision, Sarah's devotion to her kids. They're not just stories, they're mirrors, reflecting your own battles, your own quiet resilience. The closure is real: victors in cuffs, Lena's empire falls, Mark's power crumbles, but the open-ended twist, those cryptic warnings, leaves an air of mystery that lingers like a melody you can't shake. You're left reflecting on what success means, on the cost of trust, on the courage it takes to stay humble in a loud world. As their stories fade, you're not just closing a video, you're carrying their lessons, their scars, their unresolved shadows, and that's the mark of a story that doesn't just end, but lives on in you, urging you to watch the world a little closer, to listen a little deeper, to find your own power in silence.